Hey everybody, welcome back. Fast Car by Tracy Chapman. This is a great beginner intermediate fingerpicking riff because it's really fun to play, it's instantly recognizable, and it has some very cool chord voicings that are likely going to be new to a lot of you. If you want the tab for the entire song, not just the riff we're doing in this video, there's a link in the description where you can get that. First, if we want to be in the right key, we're going to need a capo on the 2nd fret. You can totally play this without a capo and use all the same fingerings and chord shapes we're going to go over, you just won't be in the same key as the recording. If that doesn't matter to you, don't worry about the capo. This riff is built around 4 3-note chords: C5, G5, E minor, and D major. In each of these chords we're going to be playing the B string with our middle finger, the G string with our index finger, and either the A string or the low E string with our thumb. The first chord, C5, feels very similar to an open C major shape, but because we're not playing any E's, E is the 3rd of a C major chord, it's technically not a major chord, it's a power chord or a 5 chord. We're playing a C on the A string, which is a root note, a G on the G string, which is a 5th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and either a B or a C on the B string, which is a 7th or another root. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. This chord is the only one in the riff that we embellish. That embellishment looks like this. So we start with our 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the A string and the G and B strings open, then hammer onto the 1st fret of the B string, then back to the open G and B strings. So all 3 strings, hammer on, open G and B. And one piece of technique advice here, when we go back to the open G and B strings, we also want to lift our 3rd finger because we're about to change chords, so we need that 3rd finger to be up in order to get to the next chord in time. The next chord is our G5, where we move the low note down to the low E string instead of the A string. So we have a G on the 3rd fret of the low E, an open G, those are both root notes, and a D on the 3rd fret of the B string, which is a 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once again, this shape is very reminiscent of the open G major shape, but we're leaving out the 3rd, which in this case is a B, so it's actually a power chord, not a major chord. In terms of fingering, you can play this G5 however you want. I think it's probably most efficient to use your 3rd finger for the low G and your 4th finger for the D, because that requires less traveling for each finger coming from the C5 chord. But if you watch Tracy Chapman play this song, she actually uses her 2nd and 3rd fingers like this, probably because that's just how she's used to playing her G chords. We also have a slide on the B string coming up after this chord, which means whatever finger you have on the B string for this chord is the one you're going to use for that slide, so that might also factor into which fingering you decide to use. So we hit the G5, all 3 strings, then we hit the B string by itself once, then the G string by itself, and that's the end of the first half of the riff. So this is what we have so far. Next, we're going to take whatever finger we were using on the B string for that G5 chord and slide it all the way up to the 8th fret. And remember, 8th fret means 8 frets up from our capo, so we're actually landing on the 10th fret here, but we're calling it the 8th fret because of the capo. As we land on the 8th fret of the B string, we're also going to place one of our fingers, it's up to you which one, on the 7th fret of the A string. And this is our E minor chord shape. We have an E on the A string, which is a root note, an open G, and a higher octave of G on the B string, which are both 3rds. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. There's no real finger picking pattern for this chord. We just hit our 3 strings, let them ring for a beat and a half, and move on to the next chord. And that brings us to our D major. To get to this chord from the E minor, we're going to move down 2 frets on the A string to the 5th fret, and 1 fret on the B string to the 7th fret. That gives us a D on the A string, which is our root note, an F sharp on the B string, which is the 3rd, 1, 2, 3, and our ever-present open G, which in this chord is actually a 4th. I'll explain what that G is doing there in a second, but first, our right hand pattern for this is the exact same one we used for the G5 chord. All 3 strings, B string by itself, G string by itself. So for the second half of the riff, we have... So let's talk about that mysterious open G string in our D chord. I say mysterious because we typically don't see 4ths in major chords because they tend to kind of clash with the chord. Yes, there are sus4 chords and even 11 chords, but those are different from taking a regular major triad and adding a low fourth to it, which is what's happening here. But this one sounds fine, so what's going on? The reason that G sounds okay in this context is because the G in this riff is being used as a pedal tone. A pedal tone is a note that sustains through a chord progression even though it doesn't necessarily match with all the chords. The term pedal tone comes from the organ, which, in addition to having the regular keyboard that organists play with their hands, often has a bass keyboard on the bottom that's played by stepping on pedals. In organ music, it's not uncommon to have a chord progression being played with the hands while sustaining one long bass note on one of the pedals, hence the term pedal tone. The interesting thing about pedal tones is that because they typically start on a chord that they do fit in with, in our case we have 3 chords where that open G is actually part of the normal chord, when we get to the chord that they don't fit in with, in our case D major, they still sound okay because our ear is already used to hearing that note sustained through the previous chords. Think of it like this. If someone ran up behind you right now and threw a bucket of cold water on you, you would really notice that cold water, right? But if you're in a cold swimming pool and someone throws a bucket of water on you, it's like, no big deal. It doesn't feel particularly cold or surprising because you're already used to that water. Same thing with the pedal tone. If someone just plays a D chord with a G in it, it's probably going to sound kind of jarring. But since we've already gotten acclimated to hearing that G in the previous 3 chords, when it continues to sustain through the D chord, it's no big deal. It's not a surprise. Now that we know all the notes to play, let's count through the riff a couple times so you can get a feel for the rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And now one more time a little faster. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We're in the key of G major here, so our C5, G5, E minor, D major chord progression is a 4-1-6-5. And just a reminder, when we talk about keys and chords while using a capo, we're referring to what it feels like we're playing based on the chord shapes, not what the listener is actually hearing. When we listen to Tracy Chapman play this song, we're actually hearing the chords D5, A5, F sharp minor, and E. The brilliant thing about the way she constructs this guitar part is that she gets here by taking things away, not by adding stuff. Think about it. Most people would play that chord progression like this. But she takes half the notes out, and one of the notes she keeps is a pedal tone, so she's really just working with 2 changing notes per chord. Then she plays this understated fingerpicking pattern and turns this simple chord progression into one of the most memorable guitar parts of that era. The takeaway from that is that removing elements and stripping things down can often result in a much more engaging piece of music than continuously piling on more and more stuff. Real quick before we get to the demos, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and if you have any requests for what song I do next, go ahead and leave those in the comments.